We have a couple of calls to share with you. Again, our topic tonight, dealing with debt. Lee Ringler to our right, a bankruptcy specialist. Betty, thank you for your patience. How are you tonight?
I'm good.
Good. How can we help?
I was just calling to hear your take about, all of the, student loan forgiveness. Everything is about student loan forgiveness for, I guess, college applicants, but there's nothing being said about people that are drowning in credit card debt and are continuing to pay their bills. However, it's like there's no help for using credit cards. You can't file it on your taxes. And with the interest, you pay more interest than you do for the actual payment.
Sure.
But in good faith, you're trying to pay this debt that you made, and it's even worse with the pandemic. So I just wanted to hear your take about that. Why is it not something in place where the banks could maybe do a reduction in interest so that they can get the money back without filing bankruptcy?
Okay. Lee, so I know generally for your question, Betty, when you're talking about student loans versus credit card debt, you're talking apples and oranges. And that, in my experience, I don't believe that student loan debt can be discharged in bankruptcy at all. Is that correct?
Well, once in a blue moon, I think. The cases where that has occurred have been very rare. They generally require litigation, which, what that is and how long and time-consuming that can be, inexpensive.
Right. And so when you have credit card debt versus student loan debt, for example, the question's asked, you hear a lot about that in Congress and the Senate and all that with student loan. And the question is, why don't you hear about credit card debt? But I think it's probably because there's an avenue, if you go into too much credit card debt, that you could take with bankruptcy, whereas in student loan you really can't. Would that be fair to say?
Yes, credit card debt is usually dischargeable in Chapter 7, for example, or Chapter 13, usually without difficulty, assuming no debtor misconduct in incurring the debt.
Right. And what does that mean? You said debtor misconduct. Explain that. How could you get in trouble with that? How is that not dischargeable?
Well, doing something immoral, usually fraud, I think, is the general term. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. So if you're just using your credit card in day-to-day living, that's not going to be an issue. It's more of using the credit card and buying something outrageous and then filing bankruptcy. That would not be discharged.
Yeah, sometimes called loading up. Loading up on credit card debt on the eve of bankruptcy is frowned upon.
Oh,
occasionally can be grounds for denial of a discharge. Fortunately, it hasn't happened in my experience recently.
Sure.